All right, guys. Welcome to the United Insurance Professionals podcast. Very grateful and excited to have my guest here today. These guys flew in from a couple different places, Detroit, both of you guys, and then Florida, Tampa area for Jake here. So excited to have these guys on. Thankful for you guys taking time to listen to us blabber on about more insurance stuff. So again, really grateful to have these guys on. I'm going to have them introduce themselves. Kind of tell you a little bit about their background in insurance. We're just going to chop it up a little bit. So I'll start with Kyle over here. Tell the people who you are, where you're from, what you got going on, man.
Alrighty. Thank you, Waylon. I'm Kyle. I got into the insurance business about 3 years ago. I graduated high school and kind of went to college a little bit. Just wasn't really my thing, and ran into a buddy that was doing electrical work, and I got an apprenticeship with that. Ended up going through with that, and then met another buddy that was just doing a little bit better. Less work, less physical labor work, but kind of introduced me to that and showed that you can make money just by talking to people and helping people at the same time. You don't really got to wear a tool belt or, learn physical labor and stuff like that. So kind of just rolled with it, and it's been the best decision of my life so far.
I love it, man. I love it. So that's pretty cool. I think your background's pretty unique. Coming from, because you were really in it. You were a full blown electrician.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool.
Commercial electrician.
That's
industrial
awesome.
stuff.
We were talking about it last night. We went out last night, and you're like, "This is what I used to do."
Yeah,
and I'm like, "That's nuts, man!" Just a very unique transition from blue collar work to this, because it's completely opposite.
It's completely different. Completely different. And what really opened my mind one time, I was doing a solar installation, and the solar people get on the roof, drop the wires down.
Mm-hmm.
Busting my butt, man, just going crazy. And the guy's out there dressed nice, talking to the guy,
Of
sign
course.
right here, walk away. And I'm like, hey, what is he doing?
Yep.
Like, oh, he's the guy who sold the solar system, And I'm just like, guy really doesn't have any skill. I mean, I'm just uneducated young guy right out of high school. And he's like, oh, yeah, he's making more than all of us put together just from having him sign that paper.
Yep.
I'm, 16 an hour making that. Oh my God, what am I doing, man?
Yep. Was that like the moment you were like, I gotta get into sales?
That was it.
Okay.
That was really it.
Cool.
And then I ran into my buddy who was making good money doing sales, and he kind of introduced me into the insurance world about that. And
I love it.
Everything else kind of ties into it. If you start in insurance, everything else, marketing, sales, it's all the same thing. Man.
Exactly. I love it, man. I love it. And we've got my boy Mike Scoopin in the house over here. I'll let you kind of tell the people what you're about, and yell into the mic. He's the loudest guy ever of all time. So
I'll set the mic across the room.
There you go.
I've been in insurance since 2013. Man.
Okay.
It's been a long road. I've been everywhere. Spent a year at Allstate, year at AAA, year at State Farm.
Nice.
Spent 2.5 years as a P&C broker. And then spent 3 years, like I said, it was at Progressive in the claims, working in the claims department. Ran it up through there, and just realized I didn't want to be owned by anybody. Like 120 grand a year and basically be owned. So I was like, I can't do this. So I had a buddy who was in the insurance industry, and saw he was doing well. He got me into it, and really it's just been no turning back since. So I don't know, I'm like 11 years deep in the industry now.
That's awesome. You've had a cool experience too, going from that PNC side to the life side. Did you get your life license with your PNC stuff?
So actually, I got PNC 2 years before I got life and health.
Gotcha.
I never actually did anything with my life and health license. Even after I got it back in 2015 up until 2020, I just sat on it for 5 years. So I just never really wanted to. We didn't pursue it. So I just got it because the agency owner said she'd pay for it. So I was like, all right.
There you go. That's awesome. So you started. Well, tell me about that. How did you get into PNC to start? Did one of your friends just like, hey man, I'm doing this thing, or?
So I was going to school, and I knew I wanted to get out of. I wanted to move out of my parents' house, and I needed to make more money than I was making serving tables.
Yep.
So that I was, what's the fastest route? So I was just on whatever job finder, whatever job boards.
There's so
2013.
Even to this day, if you search insurance on any of those job finder apps, there's so many postings, so many.
And I remember, I don't even remember what I applied to. I applied to so many different things, just trying to find a 40-hour-a-week job with decent base pay or whatever, plus commissions, whatever.
Yep.
And went in for an interview at actually an Allstate agency, which I can, on a different podcast, I can tell you all kinds of things about the agency, but I won't do that on this podcast. I won't name names, but I kind of talked to me about the opportunity, and he was kind of showing what some of the guys there were making, and I was like, well, that'll allow me to move move out and live semi-comfortably.
Absolutely.
That's what I did. So I got licensed, and 11 years later, it's
I love
funny.
it.
I tell you about the 5-year rule.
No.
Well, so I remember when I was a PNC broker and I was leaving to go to Progressive.
Mhm.
They knew I was going to leave. Full disclosure, like, hey, I'm going to leave. I'm applying for other jobs. There was no bad feelings. Something they just knew I wanted to move on. And my manager, Diane, at the time, she walked up to me. She goes, "How long have you been in the industry?" I was like, 5.5 years. She goes, "Do you know about the 5-year rule?" I was like, "No, what's that?" She goes, "Once you're in for 5 years," she goes, "You don't get out." She goes, "Everybody that's here."
You don't get out. She's probably right.
She is right.
She's probably right.
Because everybody I know that's had a license for more than 5 years has been in it consecutively, has never gotten out of it.
Sounds about right. I like that. Diane. So, that lady's got some wisdom.
She does, man. She does.
The OG. Well, yeah, man. That's I'm excited to learn a little bit more about some of the things that you've progressed through, and kind of giving people advice out there once we swing back around on just your transition to the life space and what that looked like and everything. Because I think you can give. I mean, shoot, 2013. You've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. I tell everybody I'm like a useless like a encyclopedia of just useless insurance information. So
that's a good problem to have.
It is. I mean, you spend so much time in different spaces in the industry, you just learn a ton. Like
Exactly.
All of my friends call me for everything insurance.
Yep, that's good
They're
though.
like, "I don't know if you're gonna know this or not." I'm like, "Yeah, I probably do. Just spit it my way."
Or you know a guy that does. Or
I
you
actually met Mike at my first, coming into life insurance.
Really?
He was one of my first,
Like,
other than Jacob,
Yep.
one of my first buddies that was like, actually willing to help and all that kind of
so
stuff.
that's a good
So-
first person to meet
Yeah.
for sure.
And then
for sure.
correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, because that's your first time being a independent broker too, right?
I was in the industry already for about a year, and with the IMO we were all at before.
Right. Because you
So-
came from captive
Yeah.
before that. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean,
so-
when I was at Progressive, I was working in a claims unit there, and then I had been on the brokerage side for PNC for 2.5 years.
Got it. Yeah.
So I had a little bit of experience with the broker side. But,
Yeah.
nothing like that. Like what we got into with life.
Oh,
Completely
no.
different game.
Right.
Completely
Right.
different.
Yeah, it's just crazy where life goes.
It really is. It's crazy how things progress and just how we all met too. I mean, it's
I
pretty
know,
cool
right,
story.
right.
But we're gonna let Jake actually say something here. I think he's awake still, since we're just having like a 3-way conversation right now. We're gonna add Jake to the call. Thanks for coming down, man. I think coming over. I guess he came from Florida. These guys both came from similar areas, Detroit area, both of y'all.
Yeah, it wasn't really nothing coming out here.
Yeah,
Not
just
missing much in
straight
Michigan,
down.
so-
He came from Florida, so he left the beach to come here. So appreciate you coming, man. So I'll let you kind of introduce yourself and kind of tell the people about what your experience in the industry. You're obviously young, so that gets people excited. We were just talking about your little brother being freaking 16 and already like excited about the industry.
Yeah. So I'm 21. I've been doing insurance 3 years. Last month, I was a lifeguard before this, so I didn't have any sales experience.
Yep.
But I heard about the opportunity through a mutual friend
Yep.
who was up in Michigan at the time. So that's how I kind of got connected with all these guys.
Mhm.
But yeah, I started doing insurance. I had a pretty fast start, so that I think that kind of helped me. I was in school because I started at 18, so I was in college. I ended up dropping out after 6 months because I was, making
Making too
more than
much
I would
money.
have with my degree, so it didn't make sense to keep going to school. But yeah, that's kind of how I got here.
I love it, man. I love it. Jacob actually, he's a pretty humble guy, but he told us a pretty cool story the other day. The place he used to be a lifeguard at had was it a digital billboard? Like one of
Yeah.
those ones that it was like a ticker type of thing. And him being him, I think they told you you were going to fail. Like most people do when we get in the industry. Oh, that's not going to happen. It's fly by night. You're not going to make money. When you're done, come back. We'll hire you, whatever. Within 6 months, you bought the billboard and put your face on it.
Yeah, I got an ad on the billboard
That's
for
so
a
funny.
month. But yeah, they told me, you'd be back here in 3 months.
Yep.
Most people, again, there's a high fail rate in this business.
Sure.
If you do it the right way, your odds of succeeding are a lot better. So
Absolutely. In that same breath, a question for all you guys, and I mean, you guys can take it wherever you want, but what do you think is because you guys have all been doing this for a while. How long have you been doing it, Kyle?
About 3-4 years.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All of your backgrounds, obviously, just talking about it, are completely different. Not whether it be personal or what you did prior to what you're doing now. What do you guys think your biggest determinant for long-term success in this is? What are the things? Because I think the answer is a little bit different for everybody, but there's still similarities in the answer for everybody. So what do you guys think that the biggest determining factor in you guys still continuing to be in the industry is and has been?
So I'll start. So
Yeah.
kind of deep. I was making good money before I came to insurance.
Absolutely.
like I told you before, I grew up only thinking you can make money with your hands,
Yep.
work with tools, this kind of stuff like that. I didn't know you could actually talk, sell things, market things like that. Didn't really think it was that much of a big deal. But that being said, I came here and, you know, I was kind of treated like the rest of them, you know, coming in, fresh agent, not really willing to spend that much money on stuff. But I was doing that with electrical work before.
Yep.
Well, the big thing is a why. You know, I want to retire with my family. I'm an only child. I got things I want to do. I got an expensive taste. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like they don't make things cheap for no reason or expensive for no reason.
Yep.
I've always seen myself being like, you know, the guy in the friend group, people calling me for help. More advanced than that, not in a mean way, but like I've always just been that go-getter. Started working young. And I always tell people, if you can't run a life insurance agency, you simply can't run any other business.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's very stepping stone, and I'm not, you know, discrediting our work at all. I mean, it's very hard, very tedious. We put families in a better position.
Absolutely.
Which is another thing why I do this. I mean, good karma rolls around. If I wouldn't put my own family in any of the programs, not only would I not represent that company, but I wouldn't go with them anyway.
100%. 100%.
I'd be very mad if I walked into my house and some uneducated kid was talking to my mom, messing everything
policies,
up that I got.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So for one, being the why, and for two, the freedom. Love it.
Yep.
And the three, the good karma. Yeah. I mean, just putting people in a better position.
Absolutely.
Making sure generational wealth is a thing, and we're all entitled to at least a death benefit. I
Absolutely.
mean, you know, might as well take an advantage of it while you're still young and healthy and all that good stuff.
Absolutely, bro.
So.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. I mean, the why is extremely important. Like
Huge.
Your why obviously tells the story. Like you just said, you want to retire your parents. Like that's not a small thing. Like
No.
that's a big feat, but it can be done with effort, hard work, consistency.
100%. And I've put my parents through hell. I mean, you know, like
we all
growing
have.
up,
We
you know,
all
growing
have.
up,
We
that's
all
the
have.
least I could do is take care of them. So
that's what age and wisdom teaches you. We all have. It's like, God, like I don't have kids, but I just can imagine. I'm like, I don't know what I'm in for when I do, but
I mean,
it's
even
going to
for
be
yourself. Look at what you do for everyone that you're around.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
You know?
That's what I mean. That's my why. I mean, it is because I enjoy it. I get like a high off of helping people. It's the best feeling in the world. It doesn't get to me. It doesn't. You can't feel better than that.
No.
So it's selfish. People think, oh, you're so nice. Like, yeah, I appreciate that, but it's more so for me. Selfishly, I enjoy helping.
Yeah.
So puts me in a good place. But what about you, Mike? So what do you think's like been a big determining factor in you continue, other than you're stubborn as hell and won't ever quit? But other than that, like, what do you think's been a big factor in you just, you know, grinding it out? I mean, with what, 11 years now?
Yeah. I think honestly, what got me in the life space is just the ability to have freedom. Like I look at like, you know, getting 2-3 weeks a year paid off, and that's all you get.
It's a joke.
I can't do that. I'm sorry, man. I'm like you.
That's the biggest scam of life.
You like expensive, you know, expensive tangible items. I just like expensive vacations.
Well, that too. That's part of it. You know, I got an expensive girlfriend too. I mean, everything's expensive.
Do they make girlfriends that aren't expensive? That's for a different podcast, but we'll talk about that on something else.
No, I think it's just the biggest thing for me. Just having control of my own time. That was the biggest thing, man. You know, if whatever I need to do, I can just take care of it. Like I don't have to beg or plead someone to let me go to a doctor's appointment at 4:30 p.m. You know, I don't appreciate that. I can't get down with that.
Yeah.
Time is more valuable than money. 100%.
That was a big thing for me when I made my first like $5,000 and realized I dictated my own time. I was like, yeah, I can't work for anybody ever again.
I remember my third day in the field, I made $3,000, and I was like, yep, I'm never going back to a W-2 job. Nope, never happening again.
I kind of had like something like Jacob and, you know, that too. You know, I was electrical working hourly, and they were just like, oh yeah, you know, you're going to get your journeyman's next couple weeks. You're at 18,000 a year now. Now you'll make 33,000 a year. And I'm like, dude, I just started the life insurance stuff working Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I made 12,000 in 8 days doing that. I mean, that's half of the yearly salary after putting in
crazy to
5 years.
It's crazy to think about that. I love that type of stuff too, because it gives you, and I would venture to say, this is just me conjecture, but your like purview and point of view is valuable because you had to live that life of like, this is what I make. Like I got to show up to work every day and this is what I'm making. I think a lot of people that start this like at 18, like I did, you don't really have a view of like what a job, like when you have a job and it's like I make 20 grand a year, I'm not going to make more or like that's what I make unless I pick up some overtime or whatever. But in insurance, you don't have that purview of like
You can work from wherever,
whenever, whatever.
There's different time zones in the country.
And I don't really like the statement of like you can make as much as you want. I mean, to an extent, like depending on how good
you're not
like,
gonna make $1 bajillion.
That drives me nuts. The recruiters are like make unlimited, no glass ceiling. It's like there is to an extent. You're not gonna make $40 million. Like you're not, you know what I mean? But you can make a lot more than a regular ass job, and you control everything.
For
like
sure.
That's the beauty of it.
I feel like a good standpoint, a good bottom floor. I mean, I've been guilty of it myself. Like I do promise people who work with me at least 6 figures.
Sure.
And it's a very realistic number.
Absolutely.
Because I did that my first year, and I could have worked harder. Anybody could always work harder.
Absolutely.
But like, considering the fact I was coming from whole nother career over to this, I ease into it very slowly.
That and like, I mean, we're all human. Like, I don't care. Like, not everybody's David Goggins. Like, you make a couple $100,000 or whatever, and you're like, I feel pretty good. Like, I'm chilling. Bills are paid.
It's a lot of money.
Rent's paid. Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's like you kind of take the foot off the gas a little bit until, to your point, you find another why or find that next thing.
Right. I mean, you get the car you want. You get this you want. You buy your mom this you want. Or you retire. I mean, there's always something next.
Exactly. Exactly. How about you, Jake? I know you obviously haven't been doing it quite as long as like Mike has or even myself, and you started, I mean, at the same age I did, which is pretty cool for me to see. Like, it's nice to, I feel old, which is fucking crazy, but like I'm 28 and I feel 92 right now. But like, what do you think has kept you going? Because you've had a couple different stops through your career already, different systems, different things, but you've had success at each step along the way.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, kind of touch on what Kyle said. I think a lot of people get in the business for the money, but you stay for something completely different.
Yep.
So what I wanted to do when I started was I wanted to do like real estate investing. And obviously to do something like that, you have to have capital.
Sure.
So I got, I started doing this so I could take my money I made and put it somewhere else.
Yep.
But as you do the job and you see you can make a lot more money just investing back into the business or into yourself, my goals kind of changed on that. So now it's to where, I want to build a team or I want to get into other sides of the business that, will make money instead of maybe taking my money and putting it somewhere else.
Absolutely.
But definitely the freedom aspect. I mean, I feel like a lot of people who fail out, they've never worked a bad job or they really haven't worked a job at all because when you see what your alternative is, instead of me, everyone has bad days in the business, but I'll take a bad day in insurance over a regular day at any other job.
A good day at Kroger.
Yeah, correct.
Like, I mean, seriously, and that's no offense. I mean, I worked at a grocery store when I was like 18 while I was doing this at first. So but no hate, no shade on that, but I'll blank on a 7 appointment day way over
100%.
bagging bananas.
And to kind of add on what I said, what you said, if you can't do this, you can't do any other business. Like people don't understand. Jeff Bezos, you order something on Amazon and you return it, that is a chargeback for Jeff or anyone who sold it. I mean, it doesn't matter what business you get in. You're a nail salon tech. Someone doesn't like how your nails are done. They come in, dispute the credit. That's chargeback. It doesn't matter what you do. You're still the owner of it and you're still responsible for that kind of thing. And no matter what industry it is, it's sales or marketing. It's just a broad thing, So
you said something interesting to me too. So 2 things, because I always was fascinated by real estate as well because it was like tangible. I'm a real tangible person. Like a lot of my friends got into crypto and stuff, and look, crypto is amazing. It's just not me. Like I like something I can grab and hold on to. Yeah, and it's no hate on crypto. I've got friends that made millions of dollars on it, and I feel like an idiot for not doing the same. And I have money in it now. It's just sitting there, which I mean is supposedly good, from what my friends say. But real estate was real intriguing because it was like you're not going to lose value over the long haul. It's tangible. You can say, I own this. This is mine. But to your point, same thing happened to me. I'm like, if I put in $1,200 this week, I can turn it into $6,000 pretty regularly every week within 7 to 10 days.
Correct.
Real estate, it's not 7 to 10 days. It's 7 to 10 years.
And you're taking big risk.
Huge risk with large lump sums of money.
Yep.
And with this and to your point, like it's like chump change really if you're talking about any other business or any other industry. Like you're not really holding inventory. You don't have these other overhead issues, employees, liabilities, all those different things. So I was like, I'm just going to dump all my money into this.
Yeah.
Like all my returns are going to go right back into this because you can't, make 4,000% return in 10 days on anything.
Yeah.
Except this, if you have a really good week. So,
well, yeah. And especially if you buy a house and you're renting it out, maybe you you know, it's paying the mortgage, or maybe, you know, pocketing a couple hundred, couple thousand a month. But especially besides the life side, if you look at the Medicare side, which we're all kind of just getting into, I mean, the potential for renewals and almost a passive income
That's an
is
asset on
unbeat.
its own.
Yeah.
I mean, that is an asset.
Oh yeah,
Having a team, you know,
residual
I mean,
income, like we talked about, it's all about the lifetime value of that.
Yeah.
It's obviously it's great to have money coming in. Cash flow is king, always. Like that's how I feel like I'm listening to Grant Cardone. But
Yeah.
like it is. Like you got to have money to make money most times.
Right.
But the value in this Medicare stuff is the lifetime value.
And you know what's funny? You said that too. I've always thought, like, how can I make the insurance industry like stand out a little bit? You need money to make money, but if you have a system, like someone like you, you know, like you have a good resource like yourself, you really don't.
Need money that's what we
need a couple $100.
I mean, you would need money to put that position.
Sure.
for
Like
that
we had to
position,
build it
but-
to be able to build the system,
Yeah.
right? But like now you literally don't.
But the resources you have, and you can, you know, like all of us would have, you know, just for an example, us meeting you and you teaching us about Medicare, Medicaid, all that kind of stuff. I mean, someone could go and take the, you know, let's say just for easy numbers, 10, 20,000, put it down on a house, fight for rent every month, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? You just showed us a foolproof system to build an asset that will have an actual guaranteed income on the first week of every month.
Exactly. And the guarantor is the government. They're the ones that pay the commissions.
There
That's
you go.
I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. So
because there's always going to be poverty. I mean, I hate that.
Unfortunately,
it is what it is.
I mean, it's terrible,
but
yeah. So,
and it's not like we're just using that as an advantage. You're actually helping these people out.
Of course.
I mean, I thought the, you know, cash value thing in the life insurance was huge, but you're talking about $150, $200 off their bill every month.
Food cards, I mean, all kinds, you know, saving money on prescriptions, all those little things. It goes a long way with somebody that makes $800 a month or $1,200 a month.
Yeah.
With the inflation, with the way that the economy is, it's a no brainer. And the other thing you said too, and this is, I've been big on this the last, and I'm so grateful I did this. Again, sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. And this was one time where I was right, was diversifying within insurance. Like that's why I love insurance. It isn't just like with real estate. You've got commercial, you got residential, you can do low income, you know, you can do different things, some different things. Insurance is almost unlimited. Like Mike, you did P&C. That's a whole other market. And it's kind of crazy right now. Like it's really like prices are crazy. There's carriers pulling out of states, all kinds of stuff. But you're not just stuck doing that.
No.
You can go to the life space like you did or like you did. You can go to Medicare. You can go to ACA. There's so many different areas you can capitalize in. And it's always changing. So like as things change, there's new markets that pop up. And you can just kind of diversify and still stay in the industry.
Even like Patrick Bet-David and Cody Atkins and all these big timers are doing now. Like, you know, sell off their team. They get the money from it. They get their life counselor's license and they're just charging for advice pretty much.
And that's how, I mean, so look, if everybody wants to do that with these big conglomerates, the Integrities here in Dallas, AmeriLife, you've got Humana buying distribution, carriers are even buying companies now. So like, that's a big thing. And like private equity's involved.
I told you about. I mean,
I hope it's not true, but
I know, but, you know, like that'd be crazy too, you know?
That'd be nuts. Hopefully they contract us. That's all I'm saying. But oh man, that'd be crazy. Just call Jeff like, hey man, you guys contracting for that Amazon Life product?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, no, that's the part that gets me excited too, is the diversification within the same industry, is being able to, you know, we don't just do Medicare. We don't just do ACA. You can even do like the financial advising side. You can get your advisory and manage money, make money with money
too.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's just so many areas you can attack it. So with that being said, what is like each of you, what is one piece of advice you would give? So two-sided, one piece of advice you would give someone who's not in the industry that's looking at getting into it. And then piece of advice you would give someone who may be in it, who's struggling, just kind of looking like, what's next? What should I do?
So the advice I'd give to the person in the industry already, put your head down and keep doing it. Just keep going. I know the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, accepting different results. But there's statistically proven ways of saying things that makes this unfailable, I guess I could say, in a weird way.
Sure.
But I'm very confident that if, like, just for my system and Jacob's system, you know, if you sit with us for a week, 2 weeks, and you listen to every single thing that we would say, there's 0% chance of that you fail.
Yeah.
Unless you just don't want it.
Sure.
I find it very hard to believe that these people are failing because they can't do it.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not easy, but it's very simple.
Exactly.
Someone who's looking to get into the industry and, you know, doesn't really have the right person, I'll tell you what, you can look up your favorite restaurant on Google.
Mhm.
Gonna have bad reviews, right? Everything. And you're gonna be like, the hell? No, I love that place. It's my favorite restaurant. Well, guess what? You can look up any company in the world, they're gonna have bad reviews. To
Absolutely.
the Karen saying, I put it 2 feet away from my door, or the food wasn't hot enough, blah, blah, anything. My insurance, people don't read at
Sure.
the end of the day. You
Sure.
know what I'm saying?
Not the instructions. I can tell you that.
Right.
Can confirm.
Right. And that's why I'm so big on visual. You know, like you get a car or this, you go out to dinners and stuff. Like you can't be cheap with things because young people like to see that stuff.
True.
And if you do it for long enough, it's just like, okay, this guy actually has it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not just made up, not some fugazi like.
Exactly. Right. Like, oh,
It's not a show. It's just that's his life.
Right. Just run it on credit. Da 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 da. So what I would say is, again, just take the leap and do it. Again, if you sit with us and like you're really like sick of just working for someone and you just want more time and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm willing to work and listen.
Yep.
No reason that you can fail.
Absolutely.
At all,
Absolutely.
And especially with like the way that we all have stuff in place. I mean, you know, we're willing to give you leads. We're willing to teach you. You can come and watch us. All the whole 9 yards. There's too many
100%.
resources not to fail.
Exactly.
So,
I love it. I love it. I love it. What about you, Mike? So 2 pieces of advice. Somebody out of the industry, they're just looking from the outside looking in, wanting to get in. And then somebody who's doing it right now, but is just kind of down on their luck or in a system that isn't working for them. What advice would you give them?
So I think that for the person looking in on the industry, I mean, don't get into the industry if you're not willing to bet on yourself and you're not willing to put in the work. Because I mean, just like with anything that comes in life, things don't get just handed to you. I mean, no one's going to hand you $3,000 a day in AP if you don't go out and work for it.
Yep, 100%.
No one that's going to do that. So if you're wanting to get in the industry and you want to be lazy, this is absolutely the wrong industry to stay in. Take your hourly job and go back to what you're doing. It's not going to work.
100%.
So, I mean, if you look at the flush out rate of this industry, I mean, God, what is it like?
92% fail.
92%.
Yep.
92% flush out rate.
8% succeed.
I like, that's a big number that's always out there, like 8% nation, the whole thing or whatever. And this is probably controversial, but, and like, I mean this with all due respect, but I honestly believe that probably 98% of people should be employees.
Yeah. 100%.
Or maybe higher than that.
No,
Like the majority of people aren't built to run a company. That's what you're doing.
Well,
like,
you see social media and you see, you know, the 20-year-old kid who
the
came up on their
hustlepreneurs.
Bitcoin.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like,
and
that's
they're
great. but
sell the course, blah, blah, blah. But then they actually see how much back end work is
It's a
involved
lot.
with their 9 to 5.
servicing, exactly.
5 to 10
Yep.
now.
Yep.
You know, you can't do it. So,
Yeah, that's great advice. You're right.
For the other, look at the person that's in the industry that's struggling. I mean, 2 things you really need to look at. I mean, look at your upline. You got a bad upline, change your upline.
it's always about the upline and the system. At the end of the day.
I said this on multiple podcasts now, but in my opinion, and I've seen 10, 15,000 agents come and go at this point from different, verticals and things. The number one determining factor on longevity is your direct upline your first 12 months. Absolutely. I believe that till I die. Like, who is your direct person you talk to every day your first 12 months? Are they helping you? Are they there for you? Like, are they supporting you? Not even just financially, but are they answering the phone? Because it's emotional. Your first 12 months, you're alone, you're in the car, you're like,
dude,
damn, this kind of sucks when I'm not making money.
If we didn't start at where we started,
that's what I'm saying.
it would have been terrible.
You got to have community.
I mean,
like that first 12 months is crucial. And like, you have to have people to go to, because you can't go to your buddies and be like, hey man, I door knocked and nobody was home.
They look at you like you're stupid
They're
for
like,
door knocking.
Door knocked?
Anyway.
Are you an idiot?
Yeah.
Like, I work at Panera. I don't door knock. I make fucking bread. Like, like seriously.
The point that I was going to make on that topic is closed mouths don't get fed.
Yep.
It's simple, plain truth. If you're not asking for help, we don't know that you need help. I mean, we can see it, we can ask you, but until you want to open up and say, hey, I'm not doing well, help me, I'm drowning out here. What are we going to do?
What are we supposed to do?
Give you advice, but until you're ready to own up and ask for it, we can't help.
And then to add on to that, you can lead the horse to the water, but you can't force him to drink. Yeah. So, I mean,
there's a sink or swim moment for sure for everybody. Like, I remember my very first presentation. It was awful. Like, my first presentation by myself, it was one of the worst things. I wish there was a camera, because I remember it like yesterday. I was shaking. I had Parkinson's. It was terrible, dude. Like, it was bad.
Dude, I remember mine. I was in a house in St. Clair Shores, and I had my black binder that we all have to carry around.
Yep.
I had my
Oh my
presentation
God.
in the back of it, and I kept like I would forget where I was at in the presentation or what I was doing. So I'm like, I just got to look something up really quick, and I'd open it up and be like, I got to get to step 4 now. Okay, now I know what to do. I remember that. It was like, I think I only did that like twice in a house, and I had it down after that.
See, I got so lucky. I bought, we buy packs of leads, right?
Yep.
You want to run 20, 30 leads a day. Never been out in the field by myself. I went on 2 ride-alongs, which is like a training day.
Mhm.
And I went St. Clair Shores, same city.
It's so crazy. We
Knocked my first lead on the top of the pack, and I ended up selling it. And I had to go to the hardest paper app to do because it was a direct express card.
Oh no,
So I had to write a paper app trans.
37 pages.
It was a $42.83 a month app. This was like 3-4 years ago. He's still paying on the books.
Yep.
And that was such a huge confident booster.
Oh, bro,
right?
there's
I got 19 more of these.
There's
Are you
no better
kidding me?
feeling, even to this day. Like when you, because I mean, I don't get a chance to do as much field work as I would like to, obviously for obvious reasons. But there's no better feeling than getting like 30 leads a week, and your very first one is a sale.
You're like, gonna be a good pack.
I'm writing all 30. Everybody's buying from this pack, so that's a great feeling, and that's cool for your very first knock.
Right.
That's even cooler.
It's a good story for new people.
Absolutely.
I remember my first actual full lead order. I put it way up north, and I drove.
You
2.5
love the boonies, man. You love it.
Dude. Cowboy boots and a hoodie, bro. I
Yeah.
swear to God,
That's hilarious.
See, the good thing about those people is that like maybe not every single person is expecting someone with the leads we're running, but up there, if you're knocking on their door, they're expecting someone.
Sure. Yeah.
You're not coming to their door for no reason.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
They know when you pull down the driveway. You realize it or not, they know you've pulled in the driveway.
Yes, they do.
Remember the first lead order I ever put in? Drove 2.5 hours up this. First door I knocked down. It was like 5,000 in AP off this lead order. I paid for the whole lead order, just one house. And then
That's awesome.
I think I had 28 direct mailers on with me in that one, and I think I sold 20 out of the 28.
That's awesome.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was a wild 3 days, but it was a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that's awesome.
Especially coming from captive too. You're probably like,
what
the hell have I been?
Well, that
doing
was
this
my
whole
experience,
time?
bro. I was at a 30% comp as a captive agent. So,
You had a crazy.
I about
story,
shit my
too.
pants after the first 2 weeks because I didn't believe it was real. I really didn't. Like I signed my contracts, I got all my grids, and I'm like,
Well, if you've never seen it before,
This
even
is
getting
fake.
30%, that's still a lot of money.
This isn't real. I went to trailers because I was used to cold door knocking, and I was just banging on trailers and sold like 19 grand in 12 days, and I got the deposits, and I was like, okay, holy shit, this is real. 115 exists. Because I had the same like internal discussion like everybody does. I'm like, how do they pay you more than 100%? Like that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
How?
Right.
Like why?
Then you realize that they were getting 50 years of premiums.
10
You know
years
what I
into
mean?
it. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, damn, this is awesome. Like, this is great. I feel like I'm stealing. So that was such a weird dichotomy for me to go from you write it. And it was a 30% with a 6-month advance. So it was basically 15%. So $1,000 app was $150.
Oh my God.
And it's crazy. We're only
Somebody
3
else
years
got rich
apart.
now, yeah.
Dude, huh?
We're only 3 years apart in age, and it's just like from where I started in the industry and then from where you started. I mean,
That's
you were telling me
crazy.
about like they didn't even have
Yeah, they had
e-apps back in the
then.
day. You're
No,
running
bro.
back and
It was
forth,
all-
faxing stuff.
Oh my gosh,
this,
yeah.
that.
The very first house, Washington Courthouse. Mildred, that's her name. I'll never forget her name either. She's still on the books. Had COPD, but told me she didn't. Like the same stuff that every client does.
You didn't have insurance toolkit. Or the
No,
special shit we
no,
have
God,
now.
no.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything but a Buick and a bunch of paper in my trunk. I tried every carrier in the country. My God, I faxed like 7 apps off just because she got declined. Because back then, even if they got declined, you still had to send the app for
Right.
for HIPAA and stuff. God,
I remember telling us that story the other day.
yes, dude. She got declined with Trinity, Assurity, everybody but Transamerica. Thank God for Transamerica.
How about that? Look at that. Yeah,
Dude.
Transamerica for the first
Standard, baby. Standard. No height and weight. That thing, you could be 6 foot, 7,000 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
have 1 foot in COPD.
Yeah.
Level, baby.
Standard.
The good old days. But what about you, Jake? So if you had to give advice to somebody like outside looking in from the industry and then somebody in it
Yeah.
that's kind of looking around like, okay, what do I do next? I'm kind of stuck.
Yeah. So if you're not in the industry,
Mhm.
just like what Mike said, you got to see if this is something you can even do.
Mhm.
I mean, at the end of the day, you are, depending on where you're going, but you are starting your own business,
Absolutely.
right? So it does, everything falls on you. You're 1099, so you control your income. If you're not someone who can treat this like a 9-to-5 job, even though there's not going to be anyone calling you to wake you up to go in the field or call leads, if you're not able to make yourself get up and do that, then it's just not going to be worth it to even try. You know,
Yeah.
they say the hardest door to get through is your your own front door.
Absolutely.
Right. So somebody who's in the industry, there's a couple things. So I would say, obviously, first off, the system you're in, if maybe you're not, meant to be where you're at, maybe, the way you work doesn't align with the company you're at. So look at your upline, look at your system. But I do believe that a lot of people who fail out, it's not always the upline. It can always be you too.
Absolutely.
If you're not, again, the upline's job isn't to call you and make you go to work. You're 1099. You got to make yourself go out there. Yep. But also, if you're focusing on the wrong things, if you're trying to build a team and you don't know how to personally produce,
it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah,
you
you can't teach someone to do something you can't do yourself. So, I'm big on, if you can't, write 10,000 in a week, there's no reason you should be trying to recruit someone in the business.
I like that.
Yeah. Leads too is a huge thing. I'll say the big term. I mean, I had success early on, but I never had success the way I did until I got on a lead order and really went all in on the business. Getting on a lead order and having fresh, exclusive leads can completely change your business.
Absolutely.
Again, it is investing at the end of the day, but you got to invest in yourself. You got to take a risk, but
are terrified to invest in themselves. So I tell agents, I'm like, go get a credit card, put $1,500 on it. And they're like,
what?
Deer in headlights.
Yeah.
What do you mean go get a credit card? Like, we don't even have 15 in our bank account. Well, you're not going to have in your bank account if you don't go buy the leads. I don't know.
That's
they're talking about starting a clothing line or something like that.
Yeah.
What are you even talking about?
Yeah, I mean,
this isn't the industry where we believe in the model that you got to come up with a list of 100 names of friends and family.
Yeah.
No.
We don't do that here. If you're not going to go out and get a credit card and you're not going to find a way to get the first set of leads ordered, I got no interest.
That's exactly what, I had a Discover It card. It had a $300 limit when I first got it. I got it all the way up to $2,000. Back in that day, this was the good old days. We're talking 2016. A fresh direct mail lead from RGI, which is a vendor that everybody used. We use them too, even to this day. It was $27 in Ohio. The golden ages, baby. That was a fresh, exclusive, brand new lead. But most of the systems of the people you worked with them would be, you'd put a deposit down. So let's say you wanted 30 leads a week. And let's just say they were $30. It'd be $900 a week, but you're not getting leads those first 3 or 4 weeks, but you're still being charged.
Right.
So I'm getting hit 900, 900, and I was getting squirrely. And I came from cold door knocking, so I just did what I knew. Yep. And I even had the inner dialogue with myself. I'm like, what if I just turn this off and just cold door knocked? But if I would have done that, I would have no chance would have got where I'm at.
Right.
Because you having that volume of 30, 40 direct mail leads every week, it just
once you get on the order,
it just stabilizes everything.
Then you're happy.
You have more consistency. When you're cold door knocking, you could have a week where you net $6,000 and a 2 weeks where you net $1,200 or zero. You never know. If you get 30, 40 direct mail leads a week and you have a system and you don't suck, and it's hard to suck when you're running 20 appointments a week.
That's what I'm saying.
After a while,
it's so hard to believe. If you don't truly want it, it's so hard to suck in this industry.
Yeah, it's just volume.
Can you not make friends? What would you do if you were just dropped off in the middle of the street and you needed to get
sadly,
home?
the majority of people wouldn't
do
very
saying,
good.
Though?
That's the sad reality. But most people, because I'm not I'm somewhere in between. You get enough drinks in me, I'm social butterfly.
Yeah, right.
But when I'm not drinking, I'd rather just sit here and work all day.
Right.
And be a hermit.
But stupid stuff like Andy Elliott, Andy Elliott style. If your life depended on this, or your parents were gonna die if you didn't do this.
Yeah,
do it.
Exactly.
Would you not do it?
A 6-pack.
But to that point, like we talked about earlier, your why and the reason that you're doing it. That's why it's not comfortable. My first 2 months, I was ass. Presentation sucked. I just was active and got better by volume and just doing it.
When you say about sales, it's a muscle.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like anything else.
If I was comfortable, I'd be 400 pounds watching cartoons, eating ice cream right now. There's
that doesn't sound bad, really.
Can't be doing it. Doesn't sound bad at all.
No,
I know you like that shit.
Yeah, hell yeah. I love ice cream. I'm gonna have one. I'm about to have one after this. Sausage gravy sounds good too. Damn, I got that panda downstairs. I'm about to smack that when we get done with this.
And back to what you were saying with the the fail rate on the business, I think a lot of that has to do with the agencies where you got to bring 100 names, friends and family. I mean, people can't live off that. There's no lead system there.
No
You know,
support either.
yeah.
I mean,
So
It's
obviously,
weird.
90% of people are gonna fail. You
Mhm.
know,
Weird if you gotta come up with a list of 100 names of friends and family you want to sell. You know what the problem is? 98 of those people don't want to be sold.
no.
They have no interest in being sold.
Yeah.
They're happy with what they got. And now you got to call and pitch to them why you're upline. So you
Yeah.
got to get a list of 100 friends and family, which that upline don't care if you make it in. He just
Yeah.
wants that list of friends and family.
Yeah.
Well,
They
sure.
do not care if you're going to make it in
Yeah.
the industry. They don't care about your well-being, nothing. So,
well, yeah, and then you know that you have Aunt Jackie who's just buying because you know her nephew is trying to do a job. You know, so it's not a duplicatable system or a long-lasting system.
Yep.
You know,
this is what I've always told people about friends and family. Look, you can pitch to your friends and family too all if you want. I don't care. We don't force you to do it, but talk to the ones that want to talk to you. Don't force you know.
Don't
yourself.
waste time
Yeah.
talking to them. I mean, it's free to pitch it,
If
but
your
like,
uncle doesn't
do
want
it
to
at
talk to you about his
Thanksgiving
life
dinner.
insurance,
Yeah.
don't want to talk to
Then
you
don't
about
talk
it.
to him.
and
Yeah.
you'll run out eventually. You know,
Yeah.
it's not a
not
permanent
everyone
thing.
knows 2,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
mean-
Well, the people, you always see those posts and stuff. People get all like, I don't know, butt hurt. They're like, your best clients will be people you don't, strangers. And it's like, well, yeah, duh. Like, and people get mad about that. I'm like, that's how it's supposed to be. Like,
Yeah.
They're
it's a
asking for
value
your help.
proposition, and really, you're kind of sacrificing that relationship sometimes when you're selling your family
You are.
something.
Yeah.
Because
No, you're right.
if one little thing goes wrong, you're the scapegoat, and now you're
Yep.
the kid that
You're
screwed
the
him
ass.
over.
Yeah.
You
Well-
gave me this thing that didn't do what you said
Yeah.
it would do, and now you're a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not worth it. It's
No.
not worth a couple grand to have your uncle think you're
Mhm.
a douchebag,
Yeah.
like at all. Like just have. But to your point, it's all about the system. You have to
Yeah.
have a system in place. You have to. The marketing is a big portion of this. That it's so convoluted now in the industry because there's so many people doing so many different kind of lead types and so many recycling of different.
And it's crazy. I
resources.
mean, if you're scared of commission or like working for yourself, you can be a AAA agent. You know,
Mhm.
salary,
Yeah.
just a little
That's
bit
what I started
commission,
with.
health
That's what I
insurance, all that stuff. Or you can take it to like how we want to take it and how Waylon has already taken it, and just like through the roof. You know what I mean? But like how you said, you can't do that everywhere.
Mhm.
But the industry itself is through the roof. You know
Absolutely.
What
I
I
mean,
As far
private
as you
equity
wanna
is
take
spending
it.
trillions of dollars.
There's people
Like,
have been doing it as triple the time you have,
Yeah.
and they're just making 80,000 a year. every
Exactly.
year, working
Mhm.
for the bank.
Most of the new agents you get, especially if they're buying leads, like we're giving them scripts that work.
Mm-hmm.
Word for word. If
I
you
think
can't
that's
say
it.
this,
you don't
I
have
mean,
to memorize that word for word. You don't. But here's what you got to do: understand the concept, understand how to get to point A to point B to point C in the conversation, and you're going to get. If you follow the talk path, you're going to find success, or you can get out of the house quick enough, or you can get on to the next one.
Yep, exactly.
But
Exactly right. Well, and what you just said, I want to kind of bring this all together. We could probably sit here all day and talk about this stuff because there's a million stories we could all tell. But you're wanting to grow from what you've been saying. I know, Jake, you're wanting to grow. Mike, you've already started growing again,
yeah.
which is funny because when we first met, you're like, I'm not building a team.
Dude, I remember when I got on Zoom with you, I told you I wanted a contract and to be left alone.
Yes, you
All
did.
I wanted.
You
I
did.
wanted-
And
was like,
now
great
I want to be
agents.
left. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's funny how things progress that quickly. Just because I think we all meshed well, and then you met these guys, and they're looking to do big things. And
Yep.
again, like a quick infomercial on these guys. Kyle's killing it over the phone, and then he's doing all face to face. So it's a great blend between these two. And then
Right.
Mike kind of does everything between annuities, life, and everything. But kind of tell everybody, I'll let all you guys kind of go. What you're looking to build, what your aspirations are on the building and growing side, and then just how people can get a hold of you if they're
Yeah.
interested in working with you.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm always on Instagram. I got Facebook, everything, LinkedIn. I'm not really on Twitter that much, but just the basic stuff
Perfect.
like that. You could just call my cell phone or direct message me, email me. It's all in the bio there.
Cool.
And but as far as I want to take this, I want my name on the door. You know what I mean? Like I want the empire. I
Well,
want
that's
something that.
What I told you, you own nothing in this industry till your name is on the door.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, and like to go back what you said, you are opening your own business and running a business, but like, I feel like that's advertised so much, and that's part of the big fail rate. You're not inclined to take it to the 9 to 5
Sure.
schedule because you own your own business. I just do it tomorrow.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly.
But I want my name on the door. I want to take the empire. I want, hear my name. Oh yeah, that guy's huge dick in the insurance industry. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I like. I want young people to be able to come to me and say, how do I do this? What do I do with my money? How do I build my credit? How beyond the insurance?
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
the insurance is just a stepping stone.
Yeah,
to
like true
bigger things.
mentorship.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Right. Without selling some BS course. Like,
Exactly.
I mean,
like
actually
real
being
mentorship. Like
Yeah.
I'm here to help you and support you and help you build your life outside of just making 10% on your life insurance.
That's
business.
right.
Yep.
Right. And, you know, like to the whole pyramid thing, like you have a job, you're getting paid 15 an hour. CEO is making it, you know, what shape does that make? So
Sure.
it's just like, do you want to be down here still making more or with the potential to build up, or do you want to just be stuck here?
Yep.
You know, getting controlled.
Yep.
So, you know, I like being that guy, you know, to be able to come to me and I'll tell you the honest truth. You
Absolutely.
know, I would like to be the person that I wish I had growing up.
Mhm.
So
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, man. So what about you, Mike? I know you changed your mind on building and now here we are. You kind of orchestrated this whole thing.
Yeah.
You're the reason for the season, but what's kind of your aspirations? I know you have a lot of, you know, plates in the air right now and you're doing a lot of really cool things with annuities, with life, with everything, but what's kind of, you know, your aspirations in building this and the goal and you have in mind?
I think the goal I have in mind is just to see how far I can run it.
Yep.
Let's run this thing like a freight train and see how far we can get the train down the tracks.
I love
see
it.
how far we can grow. I mean, you know, I think that on both, we all can relate to this because we've all been at different IMOs. I came here with the aspirations that, all right, we're going to build something different here. Okay. We're not, and I don't mean like, oh, we're going to be the revolutionizing IMO or, you know, I'm going to have the revolutionizing agency. I want to run it differently. That like it's the open door policy. People can come in and ask questions. You know, they're not getting smacked around for asking a stupid question, but you know, just really try to be the difference in the industry. And try to have the support and everything for agents, not have the support that everybody talks about that's never there. I mean, just try to offer the agents everything that's possible. I think that's why I've tried to diversify myself and my knowledge in this industry is so that, you know, when any agent comes to me like, hey, I got this case. All right, cool. Sit down and talk about it.
And you're older too. You got life experience
exactly.
as well. So
you know, I'm looking at it like I don't want to be like, all right, well, I don't know how to help you write this big power whole life policy. I'm like, cool, let's sit down, book some time on my calendar. We'll talk about it. We'll figure out exactly what they need. I know how to do all this stuff already. You know, I don't need to call 20 people or call Waylon and have like, hey, give me your best advanced market people. I already know how to write all that stuff.
But even if you did, you got the resources to do it, and you're not going to just throw them in the dumpster behind you.
Yeah.
I mean, you got them right on your calendar. You're true to doing that. That's one thing you've always been to is, you know, you take the time to really step out and help people, make sure that they've got everything you've asked. If you told them you're going to help them, they're helped.
I'm telling you, I'm trying to be the difference in the industry, man.
For sure.
We've all come from the IMOs,
which is groundbreaking on its own.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, you mean, you can ask, I mean, you know me, I'm up at 6 a.m.
Absolutely.
Text messages off at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So when I do my best thinking sometimes in the mornings, early in the morning, I'm up late every night. I'm up early every morning. You know, it's just, there's, you know, I don't think you can't build this thing getting 10 hours of sleep a night and working 5 hours a day.
No.
I mean, if you got a couple $1 billion in capital, you could hire it to work that way, but we don't have the couple $1 billion in capital. So guess we're working.
Mark Cuban, if you're watching this, we'll take a couple $1 billion.
I'm willing to do a deal.
Let's make a deal. How about you, Jake? You're growing as well, and like I said, doing it a little differently, but at the same level. Like you guys are both killing different vertical, like same vertical, different ways of doing business, like phones versus field. And I'm excited for you guys to add Medicare, obviously. So anybody out there listening, these guys are getting into Medicare, gonna kill it. That's kind of the point of the trip was to, you know, hang out and go over the Medicare side and some of the resources we have, but they're getting ready to jump in. So anybody out there that's thinking, oh, they just do life, that they're pretty all encompassing. It's gonna be Medicare, life, annuities, everything.
The whole thing, IUL, everything.
Exactly. And they all have experience writing all that. So that's the good thing as far as mentorship goes, you know, that you'll have access to that, and Mike and myself. So, but on your side of things, what's kind of your vision with everything?
Yeah. I mean, I'm obsessed with this business. So, I want to be the king of door knocking. That's my goal. I want to run an agency on that. I feel like Kyle's kind of the same thing, but on the phone side. And that's kind of why we work well together. But yeah, I came in here just like Mike. I was pretty much giving up on the whole building a team. You know, I was kind of tired of that whole part of the business, you know, but what's funny is the moment you care less about building the team and more about just doing personal production and focusing on your own business, that's when you're going to actually start getting the higher quality agents and the higher quality recruits, which is exactly what happened to me. I think it happened to Mike, Kyle too. So Medicare is my next goal right now. You know, I'm racing to get the 330 clients right away as fast as I can. I really want to build my business around that and kind of use the life as an addition to it at this point. And that's one of how I want to build my agency. But yeah, I'm really excited to get involved in that here soon.
Something that I can say that speaks to Jacob's character a lot is, you know, and he uses the term upline, and I hate that terminology. I hate the word upline. But, you know, I mean, for me, having you come under me, I mean, you're so consistent. You're probably one of the more consistent writers I've ever seen. I mean, you're 5 days a week. You're locked on in the field. I think since you've been under me, Jake, I think you've had one day where you hit a zero.
Yeah.
I think you literally had one day with a zero for me. And Kyle, I know you know, when you are on the phones, I mean, you're always pulling down premium.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a little amount of premium. You guys majority of you guys are coming home every day with a couple $1,000 in AP at least. We're not talking, you know, that one $500 app and you don't feel like you got to work for 3 days.
Oh, no, absolutely not. No. And like, I don't mean to use family stuff as an excuse, but like my mom's gone through a bunch of medical stuff and, you know, just a bunch of BS. I got like back to real estate. I'm investing in a real estate myself after successful years of insurance, but you know, I got a lot on my plate, but when, like how you said, when I do get on the phone, I make sure to lead from the front, no matter if you're in the field or not in the phone or I will make sure I am from the front.
I mean, you're proof of products there. That's that's why I've been so impressed.
Proof's in the pudding, man. That's why I'm telling you. I get so mad when someone just doesn't, like, the only way you fail if you don't listen. That's it.
Well, yeah, we've all seen a lot. You know, we've all seen people come and go. But the one thing that always makes a good agent is just consistency. That's it. I'll tell my agents, I'd much rather you write 2,000-3,000 a week every week, or one app a day, 4 or 5 days a week, than write 12, 15, 20,000 in a week and then disappear for 2 months.
100%.
At the end of the day, you will succeed if you're consistent. And I'm positive that's the only reason I've had success is because I was never the top writer, you know, at my old companies, but I always worked 4 or 5 days a week. And when I went out there, I almost always wrote at least one app.
Business.
Yeah, right. Yeah, clean, consistent business. Just don't cheat the system. You know, I think everybody has a point where they pop off in the industry. So some people, it could be your first week. Some people, it could be 3-4 months down the road. But once you get a taste of it, you kind of can't go back, you know? So it's just about sticking with it long enough to where you pop off and everything clicks for you, and then just taking it to the next level.
Look at a couple of your agents. Look at Cody. Look at Ryan. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, bam, these guys are getting traction every day, every other day. Now they're catching apps.
Yeah.
Where they were getting like one app a week. Like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, these guys are just snapping into it.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the tip of the iceberg. Right?
Then beyond the life insurance part for Jacob, I know he keeps, he makes all of his agents put 25% of all their earnings into a separate bank account for taxes. And then once tax season comes along and we get them right with the right people and show them how to properly do their taxes, they are now shocked when they have an extra $8,000 in a separate bank account. But Jacob knew that from the beginning. He just has been there, done that.
Yeah, so, that's the one person you don't want to owe.
Yeah,
the tax man.
Right.
That's not a fun place to be.
No, sir.
I tell everybody, the money I make, it's not my money. It's the business's money. When it's all said and done and everything's paid at the end of the year, I can take profit out of it.
Yeah, I don't own shit.
No, nothing.
I'm a beneficiary.
I love it. I'm a beneficiary to like, what, 25 different life insurance companies right now?
Yeah, pretty much. But guys, I appreciate all of you guys for making time. It's been fun. Like I said, I could probably do this all day long and sit here and talk about this. We should just set cameras up at the house while we just have conversations. That'd be good too. But again, as these guys said, reach out to them directly. You know, if you guys connect with any of the thoughts they've had, again, some really cool backgrounds. They've been a lot of different places. Reach out to them directly to get more about their story, more about what they're doing, more about UIP and our systems and their systems as well. As always, guys, we're still growing. We're not going to stop growing. We're excited to keep growing with these guys. Again, from Detroit to Florida to wherever you guys are, reach out to us. We appreciate you guys watching. Until next time. Thanks, guys.